Okay, so how old were you when you entered in the war?
Actually, I was a little older than most. I'd already gone to 4 years of college. I think I was 22, 23, 22.
Okay. How long were you in the war for?
I was in Vietnam for 11 months and 10 days. The normal tour was a year, but we were redeploying at the time, so I got out 20 days early.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you just volunteer?
Drafted. There were certain exemptions, draft exemptions that you got back then. One of them was if you were going to college, you were exempt till you graduated or till you went 4 years, and I had gone 4 years, so my exemption was up.
Did you support the war or were you opposed to it?
Well, really, afterwards I was opposed to it. Not opposed to it, but I didn't think we should have gone. We should have been there. After I got back, I shouldn't say after the war, but before, it was just there really wasn't the openness in the press that there is today, and a lot of stuff was you didn't know the truth about what was going on. And so I basically went because I love this country and I didn't want to move to Canada, so I went because it was duty. And most of our fathers had gone; they were in World War II, and so it seemed like the thing for young men to do at the time.
All right. And did you have any specific reasons that you opposed it afterwards? Any main reasons?
Yeah, I mean, I saw what it was really about. The war was not. Kind of like the war in Iraq, the war was not run very well. We had no clear objectives. We had no, there were certain, the enemy was in Cambodia. They would cross the border and attack us and go back, and we couldn't go back after them. So it really wasn't a war. It was kind of like a game,
Yeah.
The game where people got killed. That's the only bad thing.
What was your position in the war?
Well, first I was an infantryman, where I was in a rifle squad out in the jungle, and then I was made company clerk. I went back to the rear. Then I went to another company, and I was a radio operator, where I walked behind the commanding officer out in the field again in the jungle, and worked the radio between our company and the battalion.
Okay. How did other people close to you feel about the American support of the war?
Well, I guess being in college has, always been a place where people, liberal ideas come out of, and people act on political ideas. And I went to a fairly conservative school, so there wasn't a lot of anti-war protests. There were people who protested the war, but I'd say most people that were in college at the time were more afraid that they were going to go rather than what the real reasons we were there or weren't there.
What kind of weapons did you use?
I carried an M16 rifle, automatic rifle.
Okay. Were you ever injured?
No, not a scratch.
Where in Vietnam were you stationed?
I was in Phu Vinh province. This is the lower southern, not in the Mekong Delta, but just above the Delta, the southern part of the country.
Okay.
What kind of Phu Vinh? I can't.
What kind of food did you eat when you were stationed there?
Army food.
Pretty gross food, I'm guessing.
It was okay. We only had hot food every third or fourth day. So, and the other times we had these C rations or K rations, what they were. It's little cans of things you'd open up, and some other stuff they had were like some dry, dehydrated stuff where you add water to and you cooked it. But it was, it was the food you got every third day or fourth day was pretty good.
Do you have any like most memorable moments of the war?
Yeah, a lot of well, a lot of near misses and stuff that happened to me that I remember. But one time I thought we were being I was outside the perimeter and we were came under a mortar attack, and I was running back to the perimeter, and I tripped a trip flare, which is a flare with a line on it. So if anyone was sneaking up here tonight, they tripped this line, the flare would go off and you knew they were there. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought it was a mortar. When the thing went off, I thought it was a mortar right next to me. But and I kept running and thought I was wounded, but I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. What was your daily routine like?
Well, which time? I actually had three positions, but basically you get up in the morning and at sunrise and you start searching for the enemy or searching for signs of the enemy and walking through the jungle, and then we would leave off different, every company has 4 squads or 4 platoons, so we would leave off different platoons at different areas to try and set up what we call ambushes. We would set up places along the trail that the enemy would walk along where we could attack them if they came along, pretty much. And then bed down for the night when the sunset went down, and do the same thing next day.
Okay. What were the benefits for you after the war when you got out?
Actually, I became a Vietnam veterans lobbyist in Washington after the war. Our benefits, I think we got, I don't know, $200 a month to go to school. I didn't graduate, so I went back to college afterwards. There was a GI Bill for education. There was a GI Bill for buying a home. There were some medical benefits, not really, but basically college benefits. And we got a certain amount of money every month to go to college, which were completely different from the World War II veterans. They got, if they went to school, say they went to Washington University, they got the tuition paid for it, the whole tuition. And we didn't get anywhere near that. And we were wondering why, because we thought that we had served as honorably as they did.
Yeah.
And so I actually went with a group of people that I was in college with, and we lobbied for a better benefit package, and ended up getting it. Of course, I had already graduated by then, so.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks.
Do I get my check now? No? What?